a photo booth, when you're running a photo booth out there, we just want you guys to be uh, presenting the most professional as possible. And sometimes when you're running a photo booth and then somebody hits print, somebody says, "Oh, well, that's just an iPad." And a lot of those Apple menus come with the AirPrint protocol, and nothing wrong with that. It still prints perfectly, but at the same time, I feel like our box is kind of unique because you can use it in different ways. I want to be able to show you how to use the box correctly. I think there's a lot of people who own the box and do not use it correctly. They use it just to get by. My preferred method, I'll just say this, it's wired method. I know Julian, I'm out of California, by the way, I'm in the West Coast. I know Julian's out of Mexico and he really loves using it wireless. Again, it's going to be catered to whatever your workflow looks like. Um, I used to use wireless, to be honest with you. There's a couple of times where I had some issues with wireless because not necessarily the box, because the venues are large. And when you're using the wireless signal and a lot of things operate off that same bandwidth, which is a 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth, there's a lot of conflicting connections. And sometimes it'll disconnect. And it gets a little frustrating when you have a line and you're trying to troubleshoot that. So, just be mindful of your situation. If you're outdoors or if you're in big venues, then I'd recommend wired. If you have events kind of in a secluded area where it's not going to become an issue, then by all means use wireless. But I always recommend wired first and then use wireless as a backup. You can go vice versa with either one. But let me just connect here. I'm going to share a screen. I'm going to go into Touchpix and I'm going to create an event just so I can load it on my iPads and you guys can see everything that I'm doing. I'm about to share my screen real quick. Let me see here. Let me know when you guys are able to see my screen. You guys should be able to see the Touchpix screen, correct? Are you guys able to see that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and log into my account. And I'm going to create just a quick event. That way you guys can see it in action, and I might even duplicate an event. But the important part, I'll show you what you need to do to activate printing as well. So let's go into my event. And for example, let's go into this active event here that I have. And I'm going to take a quick snapshot of this from my phone. That way I could activate it on one of the iPads. Since I already have it active, I don't need it. So in here, it's important. I'm going to go into manage event. You can duplicate any event once you have your settings. That makes it a little easier when creating the next event. So if I wanted to create an event for maybe this weekend and I like the settings for this Erica skiing set, I can always hit duplicate and it'll duplicate my event, right? This is an event that I created with strips, but let's go back. I accidentally hit that. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into my events. And also, if you need to make adjustments, you can always go back in there. If you're a long-term Touchpix user, you can feel free and go into the edit button and allow you to go back into that specific event and make the necessary changes. Um, let's go in here. Let's go hit edit. Okay. As you can see up here, it says this is an active event. With our new interface, you just have to make sure that if you have a active event, you need to close it before you can reach your allotted amount of events. This is a pretty standard photo booth event. It's photo booth only, so we're covering photo booth only. I'm just going to have you guys take a peek of what the overlay looks like. These are
Just
my,
showing that. Can I ask a quick question?
sure,
It's based on something you just said. You talked about closing an event before you reach your allotted amount. Are
sure.
you guys aware of a current issue that is happening where I'm closing events, and I've seen other people post this where you're closing the events, but it doesn't close?
Well, It's not necessarily an issue. It has to do with connectivity, how stable your internet is. But if it doesn't close properly, we've had some cases where it does not close properly. Um, and I'll link you to a YouTube video on what you need to do, and I can perhaps even show you live. It's very easy to kind of move on from that scenario. So if your event is still showing active, and what she's talking about, just I'm going to back up real quick just so I can explain that real quick. I'm going to go back into my events. Depending on the account that you own, a lot of people are on the four events account, right? Which is your subscription that you're paying for. We used to call it a dual pass. Now it's changed, but it starts with four a lot of events at the same time. And if you're paying a little bit more money, it'll allow you eight. And then I have an enterprise account. So right off the bat, when you go into your event manager, if you look at active licenses, you can see that I have five active right now. For most of you, you guys can only have four unless you're paying a little bit more money for a higher account. If that's the case, if you want to close your event, or if it shows active and it doesn't close properly, all you need to do from any device, just make sure you don't have Touchpix, you don't have a prior event loaded on that device. Even if that event is closed, all you're going to do is go click on the QR code from your Touchpix device. What you're going to do is activate this event on that specific device, right? Let me actually show you while I'm gonna show you, but let me take a picture of this QR code then, and then I'll go back in here. I think that'll be the best way I can show you. Give me 1 second here while I switch over to my iPhone. Julian, can you make me the DJ One Duke iPhone? Can you make me co-host on that, please?
Sure. Let me do. What was the name? Sorry.
It's the DJ One Duke. You'll see
Okay, I
that.
see it. I see it. It's done.
Okay, thank you. I'm just downloading the app real quick again, just so I can show you guys live with the fresh install, because I'm not sure what version I had on this phone. Okay, I'm going to share a screen. Let me know when that screen pops up here. This is actually the screen from my iPhone here. It should be popping up now. Okay, perfect. As you can see, it's downloading the app here. Hopefully it goes a little quicker than that. We'll wait. Again, this is an important thing. I feel like that question is appropriate for this webinar, because that's a new system change that we've had. And I just want to make sure that you guys understand now that the protocol is to close your events before you can move on with a different event. And I think that'll make a lot more sense once it's good to go. It's going a little slow. Outside of printing, is there anything you guys want to learn today outside of the printing functions? If we have time, I can dive into that while it's downloading the.
Yes, I was directed here for assistance with hooking up my DSLR
Got it.
for
I
the
know who
first
you.
time.
Okay, got it. I know exactly who you are, and I will definitely go over the same scenario you're having.
Okay.
You have, I believe, a USB-C iPad, correct? And then you have a Canon R100.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So I'm connecting that equipment now just to get it ready for you,
Okay.
and we'll kill two birds with one stone here. Yeah, I think you were on support with one of our colleagues.
Yeah, I was on with a couple of them actually.
Oh, okay. I'll get you
Yeah.
sorted, man.
All
I
right.
get you sorted. I'll get you sorted on that.
All right.
You know, did it finish downloading? Okay, finish downloading. Okay, here we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the app, right? This is a brand new install. Of course, you're gonna allow permissions. And this is just explaining how to close events in the event that your event doesn't close, right? Once you install the app and you go into your dashboard and pull up the QR code, you're going to hit activate event. So I'm going to go ahead and hit activate event, activate the event. I'm going to allow the permissions. I'm going to scan the QR code on a completely new device, right? The device just has to be empty without an event loaded. Once I see the QR code loaded on this device, and forgive me here if my internet might be just a little slow because I got a lot of things going on. Okay, so I'm not gonna do the TV stuff that it's asking me. Right. So this is my event for a specific one that remained open, and I want to close it. So now all you need to do is go to your menu and hit close event. Use the same QR code. And the important thing is when you close your event, make sure you close it, and you have to select the red option here. Exit and close the event. If you do it quickly, some people hit the blue option, exit without closing the event, it'll still remain open online. So if I hit the red option, exit and close event, I'm closed. And now I'm going to go back to my original screen. I'm going to go back to my original screen here. And you're going to see that that screen right now, when I refresh, it's still saying active. But when I hit refresh on this page, that event will now be closed. As you can see, the event is now closed. So if for whatever reason your event doesn't close properly and it still shows up active here, you're going to have to activate the QR code on your device once it loads, then close it, and then just follow that red prompt to exit with closing, and it'll eliminate. I had 5, now I'm down to 4. So I'm going to reopen this event again because I'm going to show you how to print from it. So I'm just
All
going
right,
to
while you're opening, can I ask a clarifying question? So you're
Sure.
saying if we run into that, go to any device that we have Touchpix on without an active event on it and just activate it on there and then reclose it.
Correct. That is the way to close your event. Correct.
In the event that you're somewhere where, well, I guess you can always use your phone for that. I'm just trying to think of if I'm in the event, because when it happened to me, I only had the device where it was actually active on, and support helped me and they closed it for me, but I was just trying to figure that out. But okay,
Yes.
because I have that same situation right now.
And I just want to give a disclaimer, support can close it. However, it makes it a little difficult for us because when we go into your events, we're just going to see active events. We don't know which event is what. So we're very hesitant about closing those because we may have to close them all, right? And if
That's
you're
what
in a
happened. They
hurry,
did close them all.
yeah, if you're in a hurry, that can put you in a little bit of a bind. So if this is much faster to do it on your own, if you're able to do it, but worst case scenario, contact support, we're able to close them, but just understand that you may have to reactivate it or duplicate it, right, to initiate a new event. So,
okay, thank you.
No problem. So, okay, let's go down the list here. I'm going to show you, this is a photo booth event, right? This is my overlays. These are strips. And what I'm going to do is go down here because we're going to go to the section of printing. Printing here, you have a lot of choices. You can either, you can select no printing if you're doing digital only, or you can hit print if you're going to be connecting with a like WCM or one of those Aircast modules, something that's not from Touchpix, something that does AirPrint. This is what you need to do if you're selecting one of those modules. You're going to have to come in here and hit select the print section, right? You're going to have to come down here and scroll down to where it says AirPrint, right? Some modules, depending on the brand, WCM and the Aircast work a little bit different, right? this must be selected to the on position for it to work. If it's on the off position, it may not print, right? What happens with the initial connection, sometimes there might be a quick crash of the Touchpix app. It only happens on the first time you set this. Just open it back up, go here, make sure this is on, okay? Some of these margins are not going to work. These are designed for our print pix box. With the AirPrint option, you don't have the option to adjust some of the margins because it uses a different protocol. But if you're doing WCM or if you're doing a Aircast module or an Aircon module, there's just so many of them out there nowadays. You may want to do it this way. I also believe ATA has a module called Printio. So you're going to have to do the AirPrint module if it's the same. I haven't tried theirs yet, but I have a feeling it may work similar to some of these AirPrint modules. If you're using PrintPix, which is what I'm going to show today, you're just going to select PrintPix, right? You can have a print after every session to print automatically. I don't really like to do that, but I know there's people that do. It really depends on your workflow. The advantage of that is that right after every session, you'll get 2 strips, right? But if you need more, you're still going to have to punch in a number after the print session, and I'll show you that shortly. I like to check this to the off position. I like to set my limits. This is basically the max limit that it'll let you print. If you need to print more, you can always select gallery and print some extras from the gallery. So up to 10 extra prints. I leave automatic paper selection off because sometimes I like to set that depending if I'm printing strips for 4x6s. That's something that I'd like to adjust myself, and I'll show you exactly where I do that. But the important thing that you need to see here is that this needs to be on the PrintPix section, so you can make some adjustments here. On this, you can adjust a little bit on the margins. Before you mess with it, I would recommend that you take a picture of the default settings. That way you know how to go back to where you started, right? It lets you add a little bit of contrast, a little bit of brightness if your prints are coming a little too dark, but overall you have more control, okay? The other thing that makes people modules not print is on their iPad, once you have your event loaded, these 2 buttons or these 2 options below, sharing box, sometimes they're on or they get toggled on by accident. Make sure this is off, because if the sharing box is on, you're not going to be able to print. It uses the same IP address. Okay, so make sure this is off. And also ScanPix, make sure ScanPix is off, right, when you're printing, because it also uses the same IP address as your PrintPix box, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to activate an event right now on one of my iPads, and I'm going to show you, what do you guys want to see first, wired or wireless printing? Any
I would
specific?
rather see wired.
Okay, let's do wired, okay? And I'll show you exactly. Just get a battery because I'm looking at my iPad here. It's not charged.
Hey DJ, I had a quick question.
Sure.
After you do a print, will you be able to show us how you use the margin adjustments? Or kind of maybe give us examples of when we would use that?
I think you would use it depending on you. I haven't used it myself. I mean, I know it works. It moves the margins, but I wouldn't be able to guide you as far as telling you move this to the left or to the right. It's more of a trial and error. So
Okay.
depending how disaligned your margins are, I would start making some adjustments there. If you feel like your margins are a little bit off, I would start with whole numbers instead of half numbers and see if that makes an improvement on that. So from here, like I'll show you what a print looks like on mine, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, because
let's
I just happen to have margin on my prints. I've noticed, because I've been using WCM, and I've noticed that some of my pictures are off on the edges. So this is a nice feature. I'm not sure. Maybe I just if I could use this to adjust it, or is something I would have to do on the DMP?
Yeah, so I think because you're using a WCM, your margins are going to be different because you're printing on the AirPrint protocol. And I'm going to see if we have enough time. I'll even show you how to use the our free Windows server as well, so you can see like what the difference is on that, right? So
DJ,
let
can I
me,
just add real
sure.
quick? I'll tell him. So I actually have the WCM Plus and the Print Picks. And so initially I was using the WCM Plus and I was running into an issue with margins where it was being kind of cut off. And so I was trying to make these adjustments on my own in the design. And then I ended up, I had the Print Picks, but wasn't using it. When I used the Print Picks, I no longer had to adjust for the margins. And I don't know why, but it just worked.
Yeah, just because it's our product, and I think it's not only because it's our product, I think it's just designed to work better than the AirPrint protocol. We communicate via IP address, specifically even when it's give me one second here. Specifically, even when it's wired, it's basically even when it's wireless, it communicates IP address, but it's a wireless IP versus the wire makes it a wired IP, and it just gives you a solid connection. With the AirPrint module, I think it loses a little bit of quality because it tends to zoom on the picture a tad bit, from my experience in the past, because I would test some of those modules. But I think I'm not exactly quite sure because a lot of those companies have improved on some of that. So I don't want to like just give generalities. I'd rather just, if I'm going to say something, I'd rather tell you something that's current because it's been a while since I've used any of the AirPrint modules. So if you're going to find your own kind of method type of thing here. So let me grab my phone and show you exactly, because you're going to say, oh man, you have a lot of wires going on, but it's not what I'm trying to show you. Right? It's not a lot of wires. It's just I'm trying to be portable here and using a battery to be able to power the PrintPix box and also power my DSLR. So I'd rather use two batteries to avoid confusion here. Okay, I'm going to switch on my camera. That way you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. And I could answer any of those questions. Give me one second here.
We could put a face to the voice.
You can. You can.
Were you at the expo?
I was at the expo, man.
Were you the one taking the pictures on the booth? On the Touchpix booth?
It's hard to say because we were alternating.
Oh, okay. I know I met Julian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there too, so it's kind of complicated.
I was the bigger brown guy. Hold up. Let me see. Hold up real quick. Let me know if you guys see my screen. I'm gonna turn on this camera just so I could show you the connections. Are you guys able to see my iPhone right now?
Yeah, I can see your phone.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the camera app here. Okay. So I'm gonna explain the connection, okay? This is a USB-C iPad. I have what's called a Sabrent hub here, USB hub. This first cable here is the pass-through. This is what's keeping my iPad also charged, right? So if I scroll up, well, the battery's not on or something. Well, it's supposed to keep it charged. Let me plug it into a different battery.
Does that Sabrent have a Cat 5 connection, or is that why you're using that adapter?
I'm using an adapter. It doesn't have a Cat 5, but I also tend to purchase. Oh, I see what's going on. Give me one second here. I tend to purchase stuff that's kind of economical for people, because if I get everything that's expensive, then it becomes a bigger expense. I've tested a lot of stuff, so I kind of know what works and what doesn't work. And I think that Sabrent plug here is like $8, and it's really reliable. I've been using it since
What is the name you're saying?
Sabrent. I can link that in the chat as we kind of close. I can
If you
link all my
that'd be
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
Sabrent.
So as you can see, once you're using a USB-C iPad, right, you're seeing the pass-through is charging the iPad, right? But because it's an iPad, you really cannot use a generic battery, right? Because this is it takes a higher wattage for it to charge, right? So I always recommend people, if you're going to be using a wired method, buy a 45-watt adapter, right? I use kind of a USB laptop adapter. These are fairly inexpensive on Amazon. That way you ensure that your iPad is charging while it's connected to that adapter. And I'm going to Touchpix right now. In addition to that, I have what's called a USB to Cat5 dongle, right? Then I have a mini cable going from that over to my box, right? And the only other thing that's connected to the box is that USB cable going to the printer. My box is right now, currently, for the purposes of this webinar, it is being charged by another battery. Okay, so I just wanted to make sense. So I'm using that Sabrent dongle with a charging pass-through that goes, that's connected to the category 5 dongle into the box, okay? What I'm gonna do now is connect the
Ooh.
camera. I have actually a video that I'm gonna link you to where it's a lot cleaner in the sense of how it lives inside my booth. Because ultimately, this setup here lives inside my unit. Depending on the booth that you have or you own, this lives inside. The only thing that comes out of the column for my booth is the printer cable. That's the only thing that comes out. So when I get to my events, the other end of this printer cable is at the bottom of the column. I just pull it out and connect it to my printer. Everything else lives neatly inside my booth, right? So you don't have to haggle with disconnecting, connecting it all the time. All of this stuff can be neatly placed in your booth. Let me get one more wire here. Well, let's do a quick connection here. Let me get one more wire so I can connect that. I want to be able to connect that Canon T100 camera for the gentleman that's on the call, because I think he was on support today, and I want to be able to assist his needs as well. Sorry, I am in my DJ room, so I have quite a bit of a mess here. So this is the camera that's going to connect, right? This is the Canon R100. I just have it on the tripod. This here is called a dummy battery. The dummy battery, the other end is a USB-C cable that you are going to be able to connect it to. You're going to be able to connect it to a battery. And in this case, I'm going to connect it to the same battery down here that has a USB input, or actually I can connect it to this here. When it's in your booth, you connect it to a power adapter that plugs into a power outlet, just so that you know. I'm just using batteries here because I don't have those things handy here. So what I'm going to do here, okay, so this is a Canon R100, and we're going to connect that Canon R100 to the USB dongle here that's on the side here, right? Because it's going to connect to the iPad. And once it lives in your booth, it's also going to get connected to that as well. This camera here has a USB-C input on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it here on the side, USB-C. I'm doing everything with one hand, so just bear with me and I'll show you the final connection. Bear with me real quick. right, here we go. And I'll go over like the connections. That way you guys can see exactly what's going on. Okay, here we go. So let's just start from scratch again, just because I want to be real clear in this video. This is a USB-C iPad. It's going to have a dongle. That first cable is your pass-through to charge your iPad. The second cable is where I plugged in the camera, the USB-C camera. This third cable is for the Cat5 dongle that plugs in down here. I have a full video, a cleaner video that'll show you the step-by-step process, but I wanted to do it live in case you guys have any questions. It's really not that hard. Does seem like it's a lot of cable. It just really comes down to cable man. It just seems like it comes down to cable management. That's all. So let me see here. If I
So it's going to be like you said, 3 different pieces that you'll need. You recommend a 45-watt adapter, the Sabrent hub, and then the Cat5 dongle.
Dongle, yeah. Yeah, you can actually, if you want to spend a little bit more money, instead of buying it in multi-pieces, they do sell a dongle that has Cat5 already.
Oh.
It's just a little bit more money. It's probably about, the good ones are about $30 versus the option that I'm giving you here is more like about maybe $15.
So you're saying there's a piece that combines the Sabrent hub and the Cat5 dongle, and so you will only need one piece.
Correct.
Oh, I'm interested in that. If you can put, when you load the links, if you can load that, that'd be great too.
Okay, let me see. Got it. Sorry, I'm struggling with one of these.
Can we put pictures on the chat here?
Sure. I mean,
or no?
I don't know if my moderator Julian can allow for that. I've never tried it actually, to be honest.
Photos in the shop, I guess.
Oh, I think it does. I see the photo option. I was just gonna say I have a picture of the one that I use that has the Cat5 and it allows the power as well.
Let me check if I can enable that you can share it, because as I recall, there's no option to send it in the chat. Hold on. Yeah, you can share.
Mr. DJ, got
a
question for you. So I noticed that this meeting is being recorded. Where are y'all gonna store it? Will it be in the files in the Touchpix group, or where would it be? We can go back.
You know what?
Get those.
Honestly, your question was it sounded a little choppy for me, so I don't know if you can repeat that one more time.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, so where will the video, this meeting, where we store it so we can go back and take a look at and gather those links that are being placed in the chat?
Julian, were you able to catch that? Because it came in choppy at my end towards the end.
No, was the same for me, DJ. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it's your connection. Did anybody else hear that? I mean, I couldn't hear
it.
It
was distorted, or it was distorted for me as well.
Yeah.
I think she wants to know. She notices that it's being this actual Zoom is being recorded.
It is.
She wants to know where would y'all be posting this link? Will it be posted in the Touchpix group chat, or she just wants to know, will y'all be posting this link so she can go back and watch it?
Oh, got it. Okay, now that makes sense. Yeah, so this will be posted on the Touchpix official YouTube page. It'll take us a little bit to post. Give us a little bit of time, like a day or so, but it should be posted in there. With
yes, that's it.
Yeah, I'm not, and I apologize. I'm not sure if it's your connection, but it sounded very distorted.
She said thank you.
Oh, okay, got it. You're
No,
you're able to hear that?
Yeah, you're
Fine.
good.
No, it sounds choppy, but I work with a lot of choppiness in my job.
Yes, sorry about that. I just wasn't able to catch that. Okay, I'm working on this camera here to be able to show you guys. If not, I'm gonna have to go run and get a battery while I leave you guys with Julian here because the dummy battery that's supposed to work on this is not working. Right?
or the R100 or what?
Yeah, the R100.
Check the USB connection that you have
Yeah,
a
I
good
do have
battery.
power. I do have power. Let me see. Or else I'm gonna have to run in and just grab a battery real quick. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to show you guys, I guess, too many things at once here. Let me see what I can use here. Do I even have an adapter?
I also has an issue, DJ, with my new booth, the one that I'm, wiring and doing all the
Hmm.
stuff using the R100. And I just realized that the USB hub that I was using stopped working. So that's a possibility also, okay? Because it was working, but the next day was not working, so I had to order another USB hub and it's working again. So that can happen, and I will recommend to everyone here that if you can, have like backup cables and backup hubs, things like that, it's much better to have it because sometimes if you're getting an issue in the middle of an event and you lose sorry an event because a USB cable was bad, it's not worthy. It's maybe you will spend $20 in a cable or in a hub, and that can save you during the event. So be prepared, try to have a backup, and I hope
All
that
right,
this
I'm
advice.
gonna I'm gonna leave you to Julian. I'm gonna run and grab a battery real quick. I apologize for that, but
Yeah, no problem.
my dummy battery is not functioning right now.
Yeah, as I was mentioned to you, try to always to run, extra cables backup because that's the best way to be prepared for an event. Okay, if you can see, there's a photo in the chat with another brand of a hub that has the Ethernet port. So there's a bunch in Amazon that you can order, and if it's not working, you can return it. So that's the good part of Amazon. Um, it happens too often that people contact support asking for cables or adapters, and to be honest, we don't recommend exactly models because sometimes can work for me, but maybe that will not work for you. Okay, because I have ordered the same uh, item on Amazon, like 1 month difference, and I had issues with the second unit. So it's kind of complicated, getting stuff like that. So I always recommend or advise to test and see if that works for you. And if that works for you, order a new one and test it again so you are prepared.
Hey,
Any questions?
Cassandra, the one that I just posted doesn't have oh, it does have a model number. I'll take a picture of it, but if you look at the configuration that it has, you could find something on Amazon, like Julian was saying, because this is one of maybe the three I have, and the three I have are all different types.
Oh, okay.
I'm more of an Anchor fan, um,
Okay.
and the one thing that I always make sure is that it allows you to, one, have the Cat 5, but two, has that C. I think it's the C adapter, USB C, but
Okay.
also the power
Yeah, the
on it
power
as
delivery.
well.
The power
Yeah.
delivery is the most important thing that you have to
Hmm.
look in that kind of hubs, because that's the thing that will allow you to charge your iPad
iPad.
during the event. Otherwise, we'll be, you know, on the battery, and maybe you
Dying.
can, yeah, and maybe you can get an issue of that. So look always for the USB hubs that has the ability to do the power delivery. You will identify it because most of the times are identified as PD. Okay.
PD.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, power delivery. It stands for
Okay.
power delivery. So try to always get one of those, since those are the one that you will have the backup of the of the power. Okay.
So if we have this, you're saying that you will not require the adapter, and you wouldn't require all of the three different pieces that he talked about. Just this one piece would work.
Yeah, in this case, this one, what is missing, the one that is in the photo, is the power delivery, because I cannot read any PD on the hub.
It has it doesn't say
Oh,
it doesn't
it
say
says
PD.
power.
It says power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it says power. If you can see the second photo, I guess is the second photo, you will see that you have the SD card reader, the HDMI, USB-C, and also
Oh,
there's one that is
okay.
called power. Okay, in that
Okay.
port, you can connect your power adapter, so you will be charging the iPad, and you will be good. Okay.
The other thing that I noticed too, Julian, is that I was using almost like a regular cell phone charger to connect to this, and I was like, man, my iPad's still not. It's charging, but not charging fast enough. And I noticed that DJ just said it's DJ, right? D and a J.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
energy.
So DJ says he's using the bigger adapter, which I was like,
Yeah.
that makes sense because the cell phone one is not working, and I was like, man, I every time I just got by, but I went from 100 and it would just slowly start draining, but it had the charging
Yeah.
symbol, and I was like, man, what's going on? And I finally realized, yeah, you can't just use your typical cell phone
Yeah,
adapter.
in this case, you need to check what is your recommended power adapter for the specific phone that you are using. Okay, because there's some that works much better with 45 watts, others requires higher than that, maybe 65. So look for that value based on your phone, and don't get anything below that, because if not, the charging will not be suffice, will not be enough with that power adapter, and your battery will be draining out. Okay.
I don't see the picture that y'all are referring to.
It's in the chat. You can check in the chat. If you can open the chat in your device.
Are you able to see still my phone, Julian, or no?
Your phone, I see DJ Duke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me start the sharing again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm back. I got a battery. I got to figure out what was going on with that faulty dummy battery. But either way, you should always be prepared. Take batteries. Take the original batteries in the event that something like that happens. Are you able to see my phone now? Or I'm sorry, my camera?
Yeah,
Um,
we could see your phone,
your
the
phone.
Okay,
apps and
perfect.
everything.
Perfect. Let me turn on that camera again. Here we go. Okay, so now what I did is I just switched everything up just to simplify it, right? This is that one piece hub that I was talking about that has the Ethernet already on the hub. So this hub here, it's a USB-C. You plug in the power to power your iPad, the pass-through. You plug in, this is for the DSLR camera, and this cable here goes to Printpix. Printpix is sending that cable to the printer. And I'm going to back up. That way you can see what I have connected here. This is the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera on the off position. I always start it on the off position. I'm going to go here to my iPad here, open up the menu. I'm first going to set up my camera. I'm going to hit camera. This is the R100 again. As you can see, it says it's not connected. I'm going to go ahead and hit connect. I'm connecting by way of USB, right? It's going to start spinning. Once it starts spinning, then I'm going to go over to my camera and turn it on. You should see that computer pop up. Once you see that computer pop up, you know that there's a solid connection and it now says it's connected. The wheel is already gone, right? What I'm going to do now is go into the printer setup, right? This is for the printing. Right now I have an older DS40, DNP DS40. This was the model before the 620. But it works the same as a 620. It's just this is an older model. It works the same as an RX1. RX1 just holds more paper. But this is what I have in this specific situation. So let's go over here. Let's go over to the printing side. From the printing side. So if I'm going to show you how to do this correctly, this is the way I'm going to show you how to do this, okay? So it's important that you do this. Before we go into printing, the main reason why I want to go wired is because it's going to print almost immediately and because it's still going to allow your Wi-Fi to connect to any other network. But before you do this, you have to select the settings option. Under the settings option, you're going to want to go to Ethernet. From hitting Ethernet, this pops up here, USB LAN device. You see these IP addresses. I would recommend you take a picture of these IP addresses. If you're using the same hotspot all the time, you're only going to have to do this once. If you're using different Wi-Fi venues, then you may have to do this every time because that first IP address is very important. So for me, it's .11.106. I'm just naming the last digits because I have the rest of them memorized.
And DJ,
So-
this is the IP address for the
internet, for the actual internet that it's being
Oh.
assigned to your iPad.
not the touch.
No.
Okay, got it. Okay.
This is for the internet that's attached to your iPad only.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
once I memorize this, so .11.106, if I forget it, you guys remember for me, okay? I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna go and hit manual IP. Then I'm gonna hit 192.168.11. What was the last digits? If you guys can help me out there, you guys remember them? No. 106. I want to say 106. Then you got to fill out the submask. The submask is always the same. 255.255.255.0. And then I'm going to hit save. You only do this once if you're using a hotspot. It is 106. The router, you leave it blank. And now we're going to go back into Touchpix. This is the wired method of Touchpix. Again, bear with me. We're going to go here. So now under the connection handling, I'm going manual IP. I'm going to select this box here where the IP address is. This menu pops open. There's three little dots here. Sorry if you can't see it for the glare. I'm going to click on the three little dots and you're going to get this menu that says fill with Printpix wired IP. I'm going to select that. Wait for this bottom banner to disappear. Then I'm going to hit connect. I'm going to hit done. Now I can go into my available printers and my DS40 should pop up. You see how it popped up there, DS40, DMP DS40. And then I could even go as far as the paper size, adjust it, go to available paper sizes. I'm going to go with the strips, 4x6 or 6x4 split, right? And then I'm done. I'm done doing this. You don't have to hassle with this no more. But if you can memorize these steps, I know for a lot of you newer people, it seems like a lot, but trust me, once you do 3 or 4 events, this is automatic. So my camera is now connected. And I'm ready to do an event, right? So what I'm going to do is hit photo. this is what my camera sees currently. And I have no idea why it stayed there. Let me check the SD card. Give me 1 sec.
DJ, that's the problem I'm stuck at.
You're stuck on that problem right now?
Yeah, and I have a brand new SD card. I've updated firmware. I updated the app today, and that's where support couldn't get me past.
Give me 1 second. I'll get you past that because I'm using a latest version that I just downloaded now. And
So your iPad after the countdown just stood there, right?
it just froze.
Yeah,
So
that's what's happening to me.
let's figure this out real quick. I mean, I used it on my booth recently, but this is just an iPad that I have here in my shed. So I don't think there's been updates. So there should be no reason why. Got it. Okay. No, it's working now. So we got to figure what's going on with you. So I'm going to exit this out again so I can show you exactly. I'm actually going to, the picture's a little dark, so I'm going to pop open the flash here. Okay, so this is the event. I'm going to hit start. As you can see, you're able to animate your screen, make your buttons move if you want. So I'm going to hit photo. This is what the camera sees. You can hear the camera click and the flash. There's that picture. You got 2 left. So we got to figure out what's going on with yours.
My camera also won't connect unless I use a USB A to C. It won't work with C to C, and I don't know why.
Right now it's A to C, but I can assure you it works from C to C.
It does
But,
C to C. C to C works if I do it directly, but not through the Apple splitter. So I'm not sure.
So as you can see here, right, this is the output. I'm going to hit print. Look how fast it is with wired printing, right? I'm going to hit print. And it should, once it's done with the spinning portion, it's pretty much takes maybe 2 seconds for the printer to kick on. It's already kicked on. And if you own one of these printers, you know that it spits it out like in 8 seconds. So these are the strips that I just printed out. And this is with wired printing again. I'm going to hit print one more time so you guys can time it yourself, and we'll compare it with the wireless method, right? Once that stops spinning, it sends a signal to the printer. That's 1, 2, it's about 3 seconds.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's very quick. Yeah, that's why I prefer the wired method. You're going to see a little bit of a delay on the wireless method, and I'll explain the reason why. It's because it's receiving the signal wirelessly, right? So depending on your bandwidth, how fast they're communicated, how far apart they are from one another. And the key thing is, I want somebody give me a phone number.
Thank you. Your phones are printing.
Somebody give me a phone number so you can see that with this method is you're still able to receive text messages, even though it's utilizing the wired printer. I'm still able to send it. Let me make sure that it is hooked up to the internet. It is connected to a Wi-Fi that's inside my house.
909.
Okay, 909
770
770
2537. And if the iPad has cellular,
yeah, if the iPad has cellular signal,
yeah,
it'll also send it automatically. This is the beauty with the wired printer. Wireless, you're also able to send it, but because of this little dongle here in this box, the speed is a little slower. And this is where you can test your speed. So let me see if I can connect to a better network. I don't know if you received it yet or not, but let me see if I can connect, because this network is far away from where I'm at.
Got it.
Okay, perfect. So another thing that you can do, because I'm going to do wireless now, that way you guys can see the difference. Another thing that you guys can do here is, if you go to advanced options, I recommend you guys utilize this. If you go to advanced options, you can actually test your current network speed at that current spot you're in. So if you're at a venue and it has Wi-Fi and you don't know how fast that Wi-Fi is, you can connect to that Wi-Fi and do a network speed test. And right now it's checking my speed. As you can see there, it says checking your internet speed for my specific network. And
Sorry,
it's going
I
to give
didn't see. How did you do that again?
So at the bottom of the settings tab, there's advanced tools.
Oh yeah,
Settings
right?
settings in Touchpix, right?
In the menu bar here. I'll go back to it right now. Let me
Okay.
just show you my speeds. My speeds aren't that great here because I'm utilizing Zoom and a bunch of other connections. But for upload speed, I have a 13. I'd feel pretty comfortable doing like a 360 event with that speed. Anything lower than like maybe 10, I would feel a little uncomfortable with the sharing speed because videos are larger files. But with photos, 13 upload is what you're looking at. That's the speed that it'll take for the file to upload to the online gallery and create that link so people can view it. So I'd feel pretty comfortable with that. For photos. For videos, I'd keep an eye on that just to see how fast they're going. Doesn't mean that they're not going to send. It just means that they're send a little slower than usual. If you have anything above like 15 and above, you're good. Don't even worry about it. You'll be good with photos or videos. But it has an online speed checker here. I'll go back to it so that way you guys can see where it's at. So this is the side menu, right? This is the side menu. If you go down to the side menu, when you pop up, you'll see advanced tools at the bottom. And from advanced tools, you're going to go ahead and hit network speed test. It also has, in case you want to reprocess all your videos with a different audio, you can do it that way as well.
fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you the wireless method. Okay.
Before you go wireless, can I ask a question?
Sure.
I've been using wireless. I'm interested in going on wired because I've had some situations where wherever I am, just because of, like you said, bandwidth and other things, it's just not working well or as quick as I need it to. So you said that all of this is stored like inside of your unit.
My booth.
Yeah, inside
Correct.
of your booth. So you just have the cord that needs to connect to the printer that comes out.
Correct. Let me show you a quick YouTube video of how I have it.
Or I don't want to, or you can just drop the link. I don't want to.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay, I'll do that. I'll drop the link before I end my chat. That way you guys can go to that YouTube video where I'm showing the specific booth I'm using and how everything's mounted. And when I get to my events, I just pull the printer cable cord out and plug it in, and I'm pretty much done with that. But I want you guys to understand the settings, right? I want you guys to see what I'm using, and I want you to know that if you have any questions, this is a good time, right? I'm using an all-in-one hub here. You don't have to use this one. They're a little bit more expensive, but if you can spend a few extra bucks, then get it. If you want to go the economic way with two hubs, do it. They work just as great. They're both just as reliable. But I just want you to understand that this hub connects to the USB-C here from this printer. You got a charging pass-through to charge your iPad, right? The only other USB cable that goes onto the hub would be for your DSLR camera if you're using a DSLR camera. If you're not using a DSLR camera, then you don't need anything else connected up there. The hub does have a Cat5 internet cable that needs to be plugged into your PrintPix box. And from the PrintPix box, you just have your printer plugged in there, right? And then once you get to that point, allow your PrintPix box 30 seconds to power up. And then again, I'm just going to do a little recap real quick. Pull up the menu, connect your camera if you need to. But the important part is to go to printing, right? Once you go to printing, select PrintPix, select connect the IP address here. Collect the three dots here. Fill in with PrintPix wired IP. Then hit connect. I'm not going to hit connect because it's already connected. Hit done. Available printer should be able to show whatever printer you're connected to PrintPix. Available paper size does the same thing. The beauty about this too is that you can actually connect to your PrintPix box here. If you hit PrintPix management, it automatically goes into the PrintPix and it's showing you all the available Wi-Fis now. But I'm not connected to any of those Wi-Fis. That's connected through this little antenna. I'm using my iPad Wi-Fi to share. So I'm okay with that. This is relevant when you're going wireless print picks because you're going to need to bridge an internet connection to be able to share. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see that
So,
too. I was
okay.
told that, but it didn't work for me on site. Another question about where your printer is located. So with this,
Sure.
you have this cord that's coming from your booth in your into your device. Where do you usually, is it just you have your printer like right next to your box? Because technically, like right now, I usually have a table set up for props. I have a very long table, and then at the end of that table, I'm setting up my printer there. And so I'm
Yeah.
not like right next to the booth. And I don't want a cord that goes, but all the way.
So again, that's an excellent question because this is going to determine your workflow, right? Um, I have several different booths. Some of them do have like integrated printer stands on them.
Okay.
So if they do have an integrated printer stand, it's right next to the booth. If I'm setting up a table, I used to be the one that used to have a 6 foot table, all of my events for props. I've learned throughout the years that I don't need to go that big. I've gone with a 4 foot table. It's a little bit smaller table. Um, and I usually place that table right in front of my booth and it looks really clean. Once I place it in front of my booth, I place the printer up there. And it's towards the edge. That way I can, and the reason why I keep it up front, and again, this is my workflow. You can do it whatever way works best for you. The reason why I decided to put my table in front of my booth is because typically when I'm doing events for like quinceañeras, sweet 16s, where there's children around, I have better control of what the props, right? Versus when you place the table to the side, you're going to get kids all over those props and you're going to be trying to manage the photo booth and your props, and it's just not that efficient. Once you place it in front of your booth, you have a little bit more control over your props and organization and making sure that the next person in line is the only person that gets those props instead of the kids on the side. So that's my personal preference. But again, do whatever works best for your workflow. Okay. I'm not saying that, one way is better than the other. I'm just giving you some options.
Okay, so that makes sense though. When it's right in front, then the cord is right there. The way
Exactly.
my booth that I have has an LCD screen in the front that we use for display, advertisement, as well as additional customization for the event. So that wouldn't work for me, but I'm trying to figure out because I'm definitely gonna probably there'll be some situations where I have to go wired. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do to hide this cord, but still not have to have it right there next to me.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. So now I'm going to show you the wireless method. Okay. So you guys are going to see me. I'm going to disconnect the Cat 5 cable. So I'm no longer utilizing the dongle. I can just power the iPad. And what I'm going to do even more, I'm just going to disconnect everything and close the app down because I want to start from scratch. I close the app down and now I'm going to go ahead and go into Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi here, I have a lot of them, but I see the Wi-Fi that belongs to this box. It's usually on there. And I'm going to go here to where it says TP print server. And it's on TP print server. It's already connected. So I know the Wi-Fi is there. Now I'm going to open up Touchpix. Now you can actually place your printer wherever you want to place your printer. This is an advantage of going wireless, right? You can place it across the room if you want. Wherever it receives a good solid connection, you'll be able to do that. So now in here, I'm going to go back into the printer settings. This is again going the wireless method. I'm going to go to the printing section. I'm going to make sure I select print picks. In this case, I'm not going to deal with the connection handling. I can leave it as is. I can definitely see available printers. And it found my DS40 again. And I'm going to do available paper sizes. I'm going to also do the 4x6 split again. And just letting you know, like for people that are interested in doing I know it's a big thing right now and it's a little bit off topic, but If you guys are interested in doing like the trading cards thing that was done at the expo,
Yes.
you're able to do 5x7s with both of these printers, DS40 or 620 or RX1, and under paper size. If you use 5x7, what you're going to want to do is make your paper size 5 by 3.5, and it'll be a perfect cutout if you're going to do the trading cards with that. So you're able to do that with PrintPix. So for this, I'm doing splits. I'm going back. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do any IP magic or anything. Go back into your gallery, hit print, and let's see how long it takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it takes a few seconds longer, right? But again, just because it's taking me a few seconds longer in a home environment doesn't mean it's going to take you the same amount of time out in the field when there's so many wireless signals bouncing off one another. It should take I've seen it take from like 3 seconds as far out as like 10 to 15 seconds for your printer to kick on.
I was going to say, I've experienced about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, once it starts
Yeah.
going, it's going,
Yeah.
but it does like take a minute to get going.
But again, this is the beauty of this box, right? The beauty of this box is that if you want to go wireless and that's working for you, great. But it does not hurt you one bit to be prepared and have a wired method in the event that the wireless option is not available. Now you can pivot and make sure that you have a solid connection by going wired, or vice versa, whatever works best for you. So they're just options or recommendations that we give you because we are also end users.
It's that peace of mind too. I mean,
yeah,
it's like saying every time it prints, I'm like, hallelujah.
You know,
when it's wireless.
I will say this: the only time that you may be having a little bit of an issue, and it's more of a PrintPix type of thing, is when your printer runs out of paper. I would recommend that if your printer runs out of paper, you disconnect it from power, and then you plug it back in to power, and then change your paper, right? Because there is a thing where right now, once it runs out of paper and you reload it, however many prints stayed in the queue it's not necessarily going to make it print. So the new version of Touchpix, which will be released, and I'm hoping it's going to be an over-the-air release, should fix that. Not the new version of Touchpix, I'm sorry, the new version of PrintPix, because there's a new version of PrintPix coming out soon, and hopefully they do an over-the-air release where that is implemented and you no longer have to do that. But if you're ever in a situation where you run out of paper and you're using PrintPix, I would recommend just power it off for 5 seconds and then power it back on, and then change your paper and make sure you connect it again to the PrintPix box, and you're going to be good to go. Because if you reload it with paper and you're hitting print and it's not printing, then you're going to have to do the same thing over again anyway. So I'm just trying to better prepare you for those types of situations. I don't know if you've experienced that, Julian. Have you experienced that doing your events?
Yeah, once. And I have to, resend all the prints that were pending. So it happens.
Yeah, so it gets a little frustrating for sure.
Yeah.
So
I just had it happen to me the other day with the aircast. We had to change. We ran out of paper and then we changed. We had to restart everything.
So let me ask you this: since you use the aircast, do you see when you hit print? Do you automatically see the Touchpix page, or does it take you to the AirPrint page?
No, it'll be. Well, I haven't actually tonight. I'm going to be testing all the WCM and the Aircast, but with Luma Booth, it doesn't show it. It's just it stays on the Luma Booth page and then prints.
Got it. Okay.
DJ, I guess that
Yeah.
I have the WCM, and for
Uh-huh.
me, when I have the WCM working with the Touchpix app, as soon as I don't have the manage manual, I don't remember the exact description of the functions, but if I have it like in silent printing, for me it works. Okay.
Got it.
So I guess that is more related to the iOS version that is installed on the device because I
Yeah,
have never had an issue with that, you know.
what I mean is some WCM models, because it's on AirPrint, when you hit print, instead of the Touchpix page going on, it'll look like this. It'll be like the iOS print page. And to me, that really doesn't
Oh
look
yeah, yeah, it throws
right.
it off. I could see
It,
that.
it, it
Yep.
throws it way off. So,
Yep.
so that's why I always tell people, look, it's the PrintPix box now is the same price if you're going to use Touchpix. I would 100% back the PrintPix box because it's super fast, it's super reliable. We do a direct connect that gives you a bunch of options, so you can either continue sharing your photos while everything's going in action. And you guys see it here, like it's fast. It's one of the fastest ones on the market. And this PrintPix box people don't know, but it also doubles as a sharing box when you're doing videos, right? So when you're doing videos, there's a way. We may do another webinar where it performs as a sharing box. So basically, it'll share your video without the need of any internet. All you need is this box. It'll connect to a local network. You scan a QR code, and you'll be able to download that video without the need of any internet. Similar to what Scampix does, but it's basically it's a 2-for-1 box on the way you share your content. So it's definitely worth the money.
Nice. Hey, DJ, I had a quick question. I'm gonna have to get off the meeting, but do you guys happen to know the size of the lens you guys were using to take the pictures in front of that Touchpix booth, the big magazine one?
I don't know it offhand, but I can get that to you, man. I'm gonna put my
yeah.
let me log off of here and go back to my computer, and then I'm
And
gonna
my
put some
last
information on the chat.
Okay. My last question was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't want you.
sorry.
Don't log off yet. No, go ahead.
No, I'm not logging off. I'm just I want to go to the chat now instead of you guys staring at my phone camera.
My last question was because I'm still learning this. I noticed when I got the text, that screen to customize it. What's the name of that screen? Because I saw that it had like it was customized.
Yeah, I'll share my settings real quick with you guys right now.
Awesome.
I don't mind that at all. So let's go into those settings.
Promise me we're gonna go back to because and maybe I missed it because I'm been using wireless and they're not getting, I can't use wireless and they get the text messages.
Yeah, so that's the
Go
issue
over
with
that? Did I miss that?
You didn't miss it, but let me explain it real quick, and then we can go into that real quick. Let me just answer his question
Okay,
first,
yes,
and when
absolutely,
we come back,
absolutely.
we come back. So so those screens, right? Those screens is over here in app branding. That's where you're gonna find those screens. Let me see if I can log in here. Are you able to see the screen right now or no?
We see your
you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back into. Okay, let's go into that specific event. I'm gonna go and edit. So I usually make 3 screens for all of my photo booths, and I'll share which screens I make. So the logo screen is what you see on the web gallery, right? The background screen is what you see where the photo and the GIF buttons are. As you can tell, these are video files. And I'll download one so you can see how that looks. This is what we call the background screen, right? Let me put it under the desktop, and I'll rename it just because it has a MOV file background screen. Let's go over to my. So here, let's open it up. Okay, so background screen. I'll play it for you guys too. I don't know what player that is, but let's use the one that I know works all the time, VLC. So that is my background screen, right?
I
It does not.
can't see it. I don't know if if
Oh,
anyone.
you're not able to see it. Okay, let me share it again. Let me see.
So the logo one, it says, is the session for the gallery. That's the one that I got the text on.
Correct. The logo one is for your gallery logo for sure.
Okay,
And
so
this one here, if you could see it, it's called the app background, right? And as you can see, this one doesn't have the buttons. The buttons are done a little bit different. There's a tutorial on touchpix.com on how to make your buttons animated. It's like a 2-minute tutorial, very easy. But this is, you can use a lot of different apps for this. Julian got me into using CapCut, so this was done on CapCut. I have a
Amazing.
lot of effects. So I mean, if you have mirror booths and you have iPad booths, I strongly encourage thinking about using CapCut as a business expense.
And CapCut allows you to put allows you to put that the Quince logo on there, the one that says
Well,
Erica Quinceañera.
well, yeah. So what I do is I'm a subscriber to Photo Booth Template Service, and
Okay.
these are all elements from those templates.
Okay.
So I just incorporate those elements into my start screen, right? So whatever template service you use, or even if you use ours, you're able to extract certain elements under, I don't know if you use Canva or Photoshop. You can also do these in Canva. You can also
So are
do
these
these in
layers right
Canva.
here then that
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
seeing? Okay.
One layer is just the background, and I just
Yeah.
added like a warping effect. The other layer is the quince, and it has
Okay, got
an
it.
effect of its own. And then the third is the
Okay.
text. So just 3
Okay.
layers basically
Cool.
that
Okay.
I put together. So
Awesome.
that's the app background. Are you able to see? Let me see here. I'm going to show you. Make sure you understand this. Going back to this page here. So that was the app background logo, right? And then I actually, like I said, I create 3 of them. I create if you're gonna do animated buttons, Julian, I don't know if you could link Martin's
Yep.
tutorial
Let
on how
me
to make it
look
these
for it.
buttons. I'm only using these are JSON files, but literally they're made out of PNGs, right? So you can get a PNG and transform them into these JSON files. Julian will link up a tutorial link on how to do it. It's very easy and it's free with the free software. You can do whatever animations for your buttons. At the end, these files are going to be called Lottie files. They're just a smaller compressed file.
I just posted.
You don't have to use them, but I use them because I think it adds a more professional touch to them. But you can always use the regular buttons as well. So you don't necessarily have to.
I was able
use
to
them.
use a regular PNG on that one.
Yeah, you
For
can.
Okay.
You can.
Okay.
The tutorial Julian is posting will help you animate the PNG.
Oh, okay.
So the buttons look animated.
Nice.
So you can do that. And then the second screen that I use is an attract screen. The attract screen is very similar to, let me download that too.
The main difference between the video that I posted here, Jeter, is the one that is using Martin, and in CapCut is that Jeter allows you to create the Lottie files that are the ones that has the transparency, okay? Because CapCut doesn't allow you to create buttons with transparent background. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's where you have
yeah,
the white background.
yeah,
instead of
that's
it
the
being.
magic
Oh,
of Jitter, okay? That it allows you the alpha channel, and that's amazing. Okay.
yeah, this is my
well, thank
attract
you.
screen. I use the same elements. I just change the text, so it's done very quickly. This is my attract screen. So when my booth is not being used for more than like 10 seconds, this attract screen will play on a loop over and over and over till somebody touches the screen, and then you'll get the experience screen. So that's the second screen that I make. And then let me go back here. We're going to show you exactly where that other section is. Yeah, so there's only 3 screens that I alternate. There's not very many.
Okay, so the first option that you showed me was the logo one, which is it was the quinceanera one, but that's the one that they receive.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
awesome. That Luma booth didn't have that. It was just like a just a
Yeah.
generic, which that's cool because now they when they get that they for me I would want to have my logo and then somehow incorporate the colors to it, but at least they can see
Exactly.
mine. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the beauty with us is like we let you brand so many different areas for that professional output look. So you can do a lot, but it's just I know it takes people a little bit of time to get used to it. And then but once you start making some of these things, I mean it literally takes me about maybe 20 to 30 seconds to make these screens on CapCut. So it's not time consuming. It would take me forever. Just because I'm a little bit knowledgeable a little bit with Adobe After Effects, but that would be so time consuming for me. So with CapCut, it's quick and it looks just as great. So the other screen is I like to add a thank you screen. This thank you screen, I use it more as a printing screen, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's all the same elements. I just add like my third element on this is going to be a printer, and you're going to see what that looks like here. Let me share that with you. Let me see. Open it. The print screen here is going to be what you guys are going to see here. And that's instead of a thank you screen, it just says your on this plain view track screen. It says your photos are printing, and you see a little printer icon. So that's the main difference. But you can personalize it any way you want.
And that's after they selected their print, and then that's what they'll see while they're waiting.
That's correct. That's correct.
Awesome.
While they're instead of the thank you screen, do that. But also know that if you're going to be using a screen for that, down in up here where it says session timeouts, right? My thank you screen is 5 seconds. So if your video is longer than 5 seconds, it's going to cut off. Try to match the thanks length of the video. You can drop this down to 2 seconds or 1 second, but make it match the length of your video. That way you can see the full animation if you're going to do that.
Awesome. I got to drop a thank you, Julian and DJ. I look forward to working with you guys some more, but I'm glad I'm using Touchpix. It's such a game changer. I'm loving the AI stuff. So
no, nice, man. And there's a lot more that's going to come out, man. And I don't know how where you're at in your professional photo booth
6 months
business.
in.
Yeah, but the more
but yeah.
I'll say this, the more you use Touchpix, the more you're going to be glad because if you're 6 months in, that's still fairly new, man, and you're going to be able to do some booths out there, create new experiences that you probably had some limitations with other software before. So with Touchpix,
nice.
now, we started with iOS, which is iPad and iPhones, but we quickly transitioned over to being compatible with Canon DSLRs, Nikons, GoPros, all wired. I think we were the first app to do it wired with the GoPro. And then we went from that, we went to Android, just to be able to support our clients that live in other parts of the world as well. And now we're doing stuff with like PCs and even Raspberry Pi. So that same subscription works with everything, including Mac Minis. If you ever get into doing a mirror booth with Touch, Touchpix will work with all of that with the same subscription.
Awesome. Thank you guys. You guys have a good night. Everyone else too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for being here. Okay, so now I'm going to answer the question that I had regarding the wireless printing. I haven't forgot. Here we go. Are you able to see my iPhone again? Yes.
Oh, right now what I see is your event manager or Touchpix.
Oh, it is? Okay, let me turn it off. Sorry, I'm sharing multiple screens and Okay, here we go. Okay, are you able to see my camera now?
Mhm.
Okay. So your question was with wireless printing, correct?
Yes. So
You wanted,
I've been at an event. The internet is nice. I'm able to print wirelessly with no problems. But people are coming back to me saying, "Oh, I didn't get my text message," because we're sending
okay,
digitally and
okay.
printing.
So your proper step for that, I'm still connected wirelessly. Your proper step would be to go back into your print settings. I'm sorry here. Let me see. Go back into your printer settings here. From your printer settings, um, you're going to want to go into PrintPix management, right? So once you come into PrintPix management, you're going to see all these available Wi-Fi's. You're going to have to connect to whichever available Wi-Fi you're able to log into.
Outside of, because if I'm doing wirelessly, I'm on the TP server, correct?
Yeah, so the TP server, just so you understand, is what connects it to this box. Your iPad connects it to this box. By going to the print management section, is giving you wireless networks that are available that this little antenna can connect to and supply you with the text message or email. It's this little antenna that needs to be connected to your PrintPix box so you can do that.
So my antenna looks different. Is this?
Yours might be a bigger antenna that folds up. There's
Yes.
two variations. That works just the same. As long as it has an antenna and you're able to see your available networks and connect to them,
Mhm.
the key is connecting to your available network. That will send the text messages. That allows for PrintPix to connect to your iPad while the antenna sends out the data.
So
That makes
say for
sense.
instance, my iPad has wireless, it has internet on it. It's a like I have Verizon, so it's on there. I can I just allow it to, should it just send from there?
So yes. So you're asking me some great questions, and I'm glad that you are because that opens up a different technique on doing that. So if you're going to be using your Verizon built-in hotspot, you're
Yes.
going to have to do similarly to the wired method, clicking on this IP address here, right? This box opens up, and then you're going to click on these three buttons right here,
Uh-huh.
and you're going to select the bottom section here, the middle section, filled with PrintPix wireless IP. That will enable for your iPad to also use the data portion of your plan to send out and not use this antenna.
Oh, okay. So it would just use that, and then for the pictures,
Correct.
you'll read from the print pics
Correct.
server.
So just so you understand, you cannot use your iPad as a hotspot when connected to a PrintPix box. So if you wanted to use your data as a hotspot and use PrintPix, you cannot do that. Your iPad's Wi-Fi will be tied to this TP Print Server Wi-Fi, preventing it from being a mobile hotspot, but you can still use the data for your specific iPad to send out by going with the second option I just showed you. The difference is no other devices can connect. Before, when you have your iPad as a hotspot, other devices can connect, and you're using your iPad's Wi-Fi to be able to transmit as a hotspot. So you won't be able to do that going wirelessly. I'm hoping it makes sense.
I think it makes sense. Well, it doesn't make sense until you do it, and it's like, oh, it works. But I think I know what you're talking about. I talked
Yeah,
with someone else, and they had told me about this going into the management section, but I just never could get it to work. But I think the reason I couldn't get it to work, I didn't communicate that I had the Verizon hotspot. I mean,
yeah,
Verizon built
exactly,
in. So they were
exactly,
sending me the other way, and I never was able to get it to work.
exactly. That
So
is going to
if I'm
be,
going to, say for instance, I'm at a location where, you know how sometimes you're somewhere and that signal just isn't coming in and I'm going to do their Wi-Fi. I just go about it the other way that you were speaking through the management. And is there something that I have to do to cut off my data?
well, yes. Well, first things
I got too
first.
many
Once,
questions, huh?
no, you're perfect. I like your questions because, it gets people's mind thinking about different scenarios. Let me go back here. I just turned off the lights so you can look at it better. Um, so yeah, so what I mean by that is when you go to your iPad typically, or you go to your settings page, when you use your iPad as a hotspot, you usually, one second here, I got stuff falling on me. So typically people will turn on their hotspot. You won't be able to turn it on as a hotspot, is what I'm saying. Um, you're just going to have Wi-Fi on. Um, Wi-Fi will always be plugged into the TP print server.
Okay.
Once you go to Touchpix, you're going to have to go into PrintPix management. If you have the antenna plugged in, all of these or all of the available networks around your area
Gonna show
will
up.
pop up. Yeah, you just pick the one with the best signal that you have access to. And
That's
obviously,
going to
yeah,
connect via the antenna. But if I'm going to
correct,
use the data, then I go the other route.
correct,
Okay.
correct. Yeah,
I think when
that's
I tried
exactly.
it before, I thought I was connecting, but I wasn't. So
Test,
I'm gonna
yeah,
try.
test it out. Always feel free if it's not working for you. Um, you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom. Uh, Julian can put that in the chat on how to schedule one-on-one Zooms. They're done during the week. The only times that they're not done is on like Fridays or Saturdays because those are peak days when people are
Yes.
out doing events. But if you are having any issues with Touchpix whatsoever and you need that one-on-one support, I mean that's what you're buying into. You're buying into not only the app subscription, you're buying into the support. We tend to pride ourselves in being able to resolve most of the issues that come out, and if we can't resolve it, we'll be upfront and saying, we can't resolve it for whatever reason, and we'll do our very best to make sure that you are able to carry out your event and are appropriately compensated for that. So we do a very good job with that. But the one-on-one support is also available as far as you need some extra uh, help setting something up, might be a setting that those Zoom calls are helpful for that.
Okay. I'm trying to think of anything else about this printing. Because this has been my Achilles heel.
Yeah, no, it's
Almost to the point where I try to deter people like, oh, everybody likes digital, just do digital because I know I can make money from printing, but it's just like I'm so like on site. I'm like, oh, I hope this works out. I know what I was gonna ask. So say for instance, because I have a WCM and I have a print picks. So we have more than one booth. Say, for instance,
Mhm.
I'm on site somewhere and we need to print at both locations. So I feel like I'm pretty confident in how to use the touch pick, the print picks. If I'm using the WCM, do what is the, I guess, workaround to allow for it to print and send photos digitally? Or
See
is
the
that
WCM. I'm familiar with it, but I'm not familiar with it by memory. But the WCM also has an IP address that allows you to log into the back end. So
okay?
you'd have to. It's in the owner's manual. You'd have to look into the WCM owner's manual. It'll give you an IP address. I believe theirs is 192.168.12.4, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a long time, and the fact that I probably memorized
Mhm.
that is concerning. But other than that, you can log into their system, and they have somewhat of a similar system, except that, like I said, theirs works off of AirPrint, and sometimes the printout might look a little different. It may look a little stretched out, may look just a tad bit different just because of that protocol that they use. Um, yeah, so that's what I would recommend if you're using that specific method. Let me see if I can link you to, there was a link that I posted about printing, or let me see, unless you guys have anybody else have any other questions too? Feel free. It might be a short here. Okay, so I'm going to link you to that video of my actual booth where everything's already wired and ready to
Yes.
go. I'm going to put it in the chat here. So feel free to see that video if you have a chance. Let me put my email address and I can send you guys Amazon links to the dongles that I've tried and what you need to be able to do the wired method, because there is a couple cables, not only the dongle. You're going to need to buy that pass through that charges your iPad. You're going to need to buy that Cat 5 cable, which is that thicker internet cable. And I can link you to some of those things on Amazon. So that's my email address. I don't know if Jillian you want to share yours, but also wanted to see if anybody had any additional questions. Were you able to understand the printing methods? Is there anything else that we left out that we should circle back to? Just want to make sure that you guys feel confident in connecting wired or wireless with the PrintPix box. Sounds like you guys got it. Our PrintPix box went down $100. I think it's going to stay at $199.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. You said they were doing
there's a special, but I just don't know if they're going to go up anytime soon. But they did drop the price for $100. I seen it on our website. Go to I'll actually link you to that part of the website.
What about, you said there's an update that's coming?
So that update it hasn't been ready for release yet, but I anticipate that update being shared with the owners of the older boxes that can be done over the air. So I think that's going to be the biggest update, is that box will receive updates over the air instead of having us reprogramming, because we actually reprogram some of these for some of our customers at times. But I don't necessarily believe that the price is going to increase. I think the price is going to remain. So it's $199. It's a really good deal for what you're getting.
Yeah, I had just bought it and I paid $299.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just don't know. Sometimes they release promos and I just have no clue. So we just work on the support end and we just try to support
not
everybody.
A problem. I'm not blaming you. That's the way it happens, right?
Yeah, it happens. It happened to the Teslas, right? So I don't know.
Right, well, I copied your so in the link I got those. Did you put the link for
shoot me an email. I put my email up there. Okay, and if they're not up there, I will reply as soon as I'm able with all the links that you need. I'm hoping, I know we were a little scattered today with today's webinar with printing, but things happen. Like the dummy battery wasn't working on the camera. We had to pivot. My Zoom needed updating. We had to pivot. But I appreciate everybody being patient and getting through this. If you guys feel like you guys need a little bit extra support, again, we're very approachable, Julian and I. Feel free to drop us a note. Feel free to say, hey, man, I just need a little bit of help. Can you re-explain this? We'd be happy to do so. So just know that we're here for you. We're here to try to get your businesses as successful as you want them to be, because I think there's levels to the photo booth game, and depending whether you started 2 months ago or you've been at it for over 5 years, there's always good things, brand new things that you want to do. And I think we're going to be starting to do trading card examples as well, how to do it with Touchpix.
Nice.
All of that's coming down the line. So just kind of bear with us. I think when we have that ready to roll, we're going to show you different variations on how to do them. And that'll give you the tools needed to go out there and make that money. But, we appreciate you guys staying on board with us. I know for some of you, it's pretty late, but unless you have any other questions, we're going to end today's webinar. Let me know. PrintPix box promo, I don't know how long it's going to be for, but right now it's $199. Somebody asked that in the chat. They used to be $299. The price recently went down to $199. That includes the PrintPix box, and obviously you'll be able to print exactly as shown in today's webinar. If you need help with that, setting that stuff up, my email address is there. Julian's email address is there. Feel free to drop us a note, a link. You can schedule a Zoom, one-on-one Zoom. I'll put the link for that too. In the event you need to speak to one of us, while you're preparing for your event, we always recommend that you prepare for your event in advance. That way, if you do need to schedule a Zoom, you can see what's available. We'll pop in, we'll talk to you about it, and we'll be able to assist you rapidly. That way, when the weekend comes, everything goes smooth. So thanks, everybody. If you guys don't have any more
Thank
questions,
you.
we're going to log out. Thank you so much. Julian, thank
All
you
right.
again.
Thanks. Bye-bye.